We are keeping an eye on the latest election results, and former President Donald Trump is officially on his way back to the White House. The Associated Press declaring Trump as the winner of the presidential race just before 5 o'clock this morning. Local 5's Megan McPherson live in studio this morning. She's been tracking those overnight developments. And Megan, Trump's win was really solidified with those victories in many of those key swing states, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Joseph. It really wasn't that long ago, around 4:30 this morning, that AP called the battleground state of Wisconsin for Trump. And you can see there that he won by just about a percentage point, delivering him those 10 electoral college votes. It's actually a state he lost in 2020 to President Joe Biden. Now, Trump also currently has a majority of the popular vote, 51% of that, with 71 million votes this morning. Big wins in Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, giving him a pretty clear pathway to success. We are still waiting on a couple states this morning, like Michigan, Nevada, and Arizona. But at this point, again, Trump still being called the winner of this race. Now, his watch party was filled with donors, family, and supporters into the early morning. Just moments after securing battleground Pennsylvania around 2 a.m., Trump took the stage to praise his supporters and declare victory.
And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body.
At Howard University in Washington, D.C., where Vice President Kamala Harris was hosting her election watch party, she did not make an appearance. Her campaign co-chair told a thinning crowd in her alma mater that she plans to address her supporters at a later time. And then let's now narrow in on Iowa and break down the vote here. Trump gets those 6 electoral votes. And just like in past elections, you can see that most of the state looks pretty red. But there are some big blue dots, and those areas show those Democratic strongholds like Polk County, where Des Moines is, of course, and then over here in Lynn County and Johnson County, both of those areas also going blue in this election. But I did want to know, Joseph, that in Scott County, which went blue for Biden in 2020, this time around, Trump takes the win there by about 4 percentage points. Joseph.
All right, Megan, thank you. It was certainly a good night for the Iowa GOP, but also a disappointing finish and a disappointing night for Iowa Democrats. Local 5's Alex Fulton continues our team coverage this morning with a reaction to Kamala Harris's tough loss here in Iowa.
There was a sense of disappointment here at the Iowa Democratic Party watch party, and people have been trickling out throughout the night. People were really hoping that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz would win the state of Iowa, especially after that Mediacom and Des Moines Register poll over the weekend that showed Harris leading 3 points in this state. Now, nonetheless, Democratic Party Chair Rita Hart said earlier in the night that she's proud of what Harris did for this state. She mentioned that after Harris entered the race, volunteers knocked on over 600,000 doors throughout the state since Harris entered the race.
For me, I'm still going to be working on people over politics, because we've got our education system, the voucher problem, reproductive services are still out there. Women are dying, for care.
Representative Mary Madison added that the Iowa Democratic Party has to really work on winning over Republicans if they want a Democrat president to win this state. In Des Moines, Alex Fulton, Local 5 News.
Now, perhaps the closest race is for the congressional seat in the 1st District. This one still has not been called this morning. Republican incumbent Marionette Miller Meeks now has 49.9% of the vote compared to Democratic challenger Christina Bohannon, who has 49.8%. So that's about as close as you can get. And Iowa's 3rd congressional district was certainly one of the most competitive races in the state. This one really came down to the wire. Zach Nunn, who is the incumbent, he won with nearly 52% of the vote, while Democrat Lennon Bacom got 48%. Local 5's Dana Searles speaking one-on-one with the congressman after he secured that victory.
And another close race. What do you want to say to those voters that really kind of set you apart? You did win by a bigger margin this time around. So what do you want to say to them?
We were half a point last time. I think we're at almost 3 points this point. Look, this is the reality. We are going to continue to work for Iowans as we always have. Regardless of party, we have a responsibility to deliver common sense solutions for Iowans, and that's where I'm always going to be committed. So we're excited for this. Now we got to get to work.
Of course, the mood was not so cheerful for Nunn or his supporters as he lost his bid to replace Nunn in Congress. Local 5's Connor O'Neill is recapping the night from the campaign watch party.
The mood here at Hotel Fort Des Moines, where the Democratic Watch Party was for the 3rd congressional race tonight, completely changed. This place around 7 o'clock when the party started, there's people all the way up to me completely filling this room with the media. And then around 9 o'clock, this is when it kind of looked like this, when everybody started filing. That's when they started seeing those the polling results go in favor of Bakam's opponent, Zach Nunn. I spoke with former Governor Tom Vilsack, who endorsed Bakam early on in his campaign, and he talked to me about how proud he was of Bakam in this 3rd congressional race.
He understands that this country and this state basically saved the lives of his mother, his father, and his sisters. And as a result of that, he has a very keen sense of giving something back. And I think it's reflected in his National Guard service. It's reflected in his state and federal service as well. He's a great young man, and I think his campaign reflected that earnestness and that concern for giving back.
Nunn did not speak at all on Tuesday night. He watched the results come in with his family for the presidential suite here at Hotel Fort Des Moines. His campaign telling me that they were not going to concede this 3rd congressional race until all of those votes were counted in this race. In Des Moines, Connor O'Neill, Local 5 News.
It's now 6:39. Let's take a look at some of the other congressional races right here in Iowa. And the ones that we're about to show you have also been called for the incumbents this morning. Republican Representative Ashley Hinson looking to hold on to her 2nd district seat against Democrat Sarah Corkery. Hinson won that race 57 to 41%. Now let's go into the 4th district where Republican incumbent Randy Feenstra is keeping his seat. He won 70% of the vote compared to Democrat Ryan Melton's 30% of that vote. And let's take a look at the Senate. Neither Senators Joni Ernst or Chuck Grassley were up for re-election in this cycle, but as you can see, Democrats, or should I say Republicans, have captured the Senate with a now 52-seat majority. Meanwhile, in the House, Republicans have 205 seats compared to the Democrats' 191. Either party needs 218 seats to gain control. And Attorney General Brenna Byrd speaking with Local 5's Larissa Leone at the Republicans' election night party, and she complimented the fellow Republican and Secretary of State Paul Pate for how well the elections really went off and went out without really many problems at all.
Well, the Secretary of State, Paul Pate, has done a great job with making sure we have good cybersecurity and good security, and all the auditors around the state, too, doing a good job there. We're just also making sure in our office that the rules are being followed and that we're protecting the vote.
Now, it was a close race for Iowa Senate District 14 as incumbent Sarah Trone-Garriott is holding a just over 50% lead at this point. It's just over, like 50.2, as you can see right there, 50.02. Mark Hansen closely trailing with 49.98% of the vote. There's just about 29, I think actually 19 votes separating those candidates right now. And also in District 22 for the Senate, Democrat Matt Blake is the winner there. He gets 52% of the vote, unseating longtime incumbent Republican Brad Zahn.